Okay, so in this video we're going to talk about the main checkpoints in the backswing and the start of the downswing, which will be P2 to P4. I'm going to assume that you've got a good grip and that you're starting in the right place. And we're going to talk about the movements. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so the first movement we're going to talk about is from P1 to P2, so basically P2. P2 is basically the takeaway. This is from the setup position to when the club shaft is parallel to the ground. So here's the setup that I want you to get. So I want you to put a tape line on your foot target line, a tape line on the ball target line, and a piece of tape halfway in between. Okay, they're all parallel. Okay, you're going to need a swing training aid like a swing plane line. And this is going to be at the same angle as the club shaft when you get ready, exactly on the ball line. Okay, so now you've got your setup correct. So we're going to talk about the takeaway. So in the takeaway, what we need is around 20 degrees of hinge with the wrist. Now we're going to blend this move with the turning. So the first thing I want you to do, just learn how to hinge the wrist by pushing down on the left hand. Once you can do that easily, we're going to try and blend that into the turn. And you want to feel like you're getting fairly close to the line. And your hands are not going outwards. Okay, when I mean outwards with the hands, I don't want your hands to cross this line. I want your hands to feel like they're going slightly inside this line on an arc. Okay, so if your hands go outside and you touch this line as you do the backswing, it would look like this. So relative to your hands, the club's whipped inside. That means you've basically rotated the forearms. So providing you can get 20-degree hinge and your hands go inwards, you can't do this wrong. Now, there's a few other key points that you need to understand. When we're doing this move, there is some movement from the hips and we're trying to make the club face stay square to the arc. So when we get ready, the club face is pretty much matching our spine. I don't want any twisting closed in the backswing. I want it to maintain the same angle as the spine. So that means the wrist angle is kept just a little bit. We don't want to bow it. This is what bowing would look like. Club face matching the spine. Okay, when you're training this, you want to do this hundreds of times, just the takeaway, over and over again, until it becomes second nature. And when you are checking this, sometimes look, but not all the time, because you don't want to create a habit of your eyes always following the club. So every now and again, you can just keep your eyes on the ball and just use your feeling rather than your eyes. Okay? Now, without the feedback, honestly, you're not going to change it. So that's why I really recommend you use something like this. You want to do like a training schedule where you do maybe every day 100 of these, and then you do 100 of the next things. Okay? Okay, so the next part of the swing is P3, which is going to be when the left arm is pretty much parallel to the ground. So the key points for this part, the hand position is one thing. So how far out or in we put the hands. A good checkpoint is the center of the chest. So in the backswing, I want my hands to be slightly to the right of the center of my chest. Looks like it's almost in the same line as my bicep or my chest. I don't want to be going outwards. I also don't want to go under. So a good checkpoint, slightly behind the center of the chest. Okay, now the second point of P3 would be the angle of the shaft. So that's what this red line is for. So when I get ready, I'm going to use this stick. I'm going to connect it to my club. Now when I do the backswing, I want to feel like this line is pointing in between the foot line and the ball line. If I'm outside, I'm too flat. If I'm inside, I'm too steep. Reps. 100 reps a day. Imagine there's a laser coming from that line. Okay, so the next part is going to be P4. So we've gone from P1, which is setup, P2 is takeaway, P3 is halfway in the backswing, and now P4 is going to be the top of the backswing. I want your arm to match the shoulder angle. So if I lift, I'll be above that. And if I go too far behind, I'll be under that, just on the line of the shoulders. Now the second part is the angle of the shaft again. So you can also use this line. This line is going to trace all the way along. It's going to go from the middle line and it's going to trace all the way down on the target line of the ball to infinity. So the longer you swing, the more across it's going to look. So if your swing is short, it's going to look more laid off. But as long as you keep that on the same line, so if you imagine a laser coming from that line, you've gone pointing at the middle, and then you're going to follow that all the way along until you get to the top of the backswing. Providing you've done P2, P3, P4, okay, we're going to talk about P5, which is going to be halfway in the downswing where the arm reaches parallel to the ground. So from backswing to transition. Now the key points for this is going to probably surprise you, but like I mentioned in the backswing, we want the hands slightly inside the center of the chest, but in the downswing we're actually going to go back to the center of the chest, which makes us actually go in a line outwards. So it's more like back and out. What this does is it helps you to shallow because you create pressure on the handle in this direction. So we're going to go out. Now the goal is center of the chest, so that's the checkpoint. So you're going to go full backswing, down, center of the chest. The shaft angle checkpoint would be, we want this to go halfway in between the elbow and the shoulder. That would be shallow. If we go under that, that would be too shallow. And if we go over that, steep. So that's the checkpoint. You're going to need to use camera or mirror for this one. To a lot of people, that's going to feel like your hands are actually going out towards the ball. Now, get these first parts mastered before you think about all the other parts. Okay, so when you do film your swing, I want you to use these as checkpoints so that you know which part you need to drill more. Okay? Now, I want you to maintain flow in the swing, so I don't want you always making your swing in pieces. So you check it in pieces, you train it in pieces, but when you swing, you make it into one flowing motion. Because just like the waggle at the beginning, we want to maintain dynamic pressure changing from foot to foot, feel the weight of the club, and then we swing. I don't want you getting stiff and tight by trying to make everything too perfect. Okay? We'll see you in the next one.